Well, this is the Following On Daily podcast. I'm Andrew McKenna. I'm alongside the former England bowlers Steve Harmison and Alex Tudor as we look back on the fourth test between India and England, the hosts surviving a few scares to seal the series with a 5-wicket victory in Ranchi. We'll be reflecting on a missed opportunity for England and look at where they need to improve as they go another series without a victory. We'll also focus on the positive performances of India's Dhruv Jurel and the England spinner Shoaib Bashir. We'll be getting reaction from both camps as well. So plenty to come over the next half an hour or so. This is Following On. So, it is all done and dusted. India win the fourth test match by 5 wickets. They reached the 192 that they needed for victory in 61 overs. They did it, as I say, with 5 wickets to spare. They go 3-1 up and take the series. It was an interesting one because Rohit Sharma and Jaiswal once again got them off to a solid start, with Rohit getting a half century, 55, Jaiswal getting 37, Shubman Gill was 52 not out, but Patidara duck, Jadeja 4, Sarfraz a first ball duck gave England real hopes, but Gill and Jurel saw them home. Bashir 3 for 79 from 26 overs in that once again. 25 overs from Tom Hartley, 1 for 70. Joe Root 1 for 26, the other wicket taker. So it means India win the match and the series 3-1 up, going to Dharamshala in a week or so's time for the final match. Steve Harmison, first of all, India take the series. England winning, of course, in Hyderabad, but India hit back with the next 3.
Yeah, no great surprise that India have won the series. I think before the series started, I think everybody were expecting, with the England unit that was going out to India, the inexperience of the spin bowlers, that India would beat England, even though at the time you're not, looking into the injuries that India would have. But I think England, as much as they have lost the series, I'm actually quite proud of the way England have performed. There's a couple of moments where, if we all live in the perfect world, which a lot of people do when they're not playing, you can criticise and have a go and say this is where it was lost, and if you did this, and did that, then I think that's short-sighted. I really do. I think this England team have performed very, very well with everything that they've had and the inexperience they've got going out there. If I was Ben Stokes, I'd be proud of my unit. I really would. I've given it a right hot go. A lot of people are thinking, right, India are going to win this and win it comfortably. India haven't won this comfortably. They really haven't. They might have had a couple of big margins of victory, but England have been in the game in all 4 of these test matches, and I think because of that, that's why I'm proud. We've unearthed a couple of talented cricketers in Bashir and the all-round qualities of Tom Hartley. There's still a few question marks on 1 or 2, and I think there's some old skeletons come out, especially in the Ollie Robinson department. But I think all in all, I'd be proud of what my team have delivered for me if I was Ben Stokes. India was supposed to win this test series, but I don't think India have won this test series as easily as what a lot of people would think they have done. England have fought and made it hard for India. And again today, Bashir was excellent today. You could say if we had 250, if we hadn't batted 20 overs for 25 runs, if somebody had bowled differently, if we had bowled differently last night, these are all ifs, buts and maybes for a young, inexperienced bowling attacking, and a little bit of wet behind the ears team. But for me, as much as it's a crush, it's a hard defeat to take, because I think England were ahead of the game quite a few times in this. I actually think I'd be proud of my team at this moment in time if I was Ben Stokes.
If. It's 2 letters, but it's one of the biggest words in the English language. Alex Tudor, Ben Stokes said from the outset they were going to carry on playing this style because, well, numerous sides have come to India and played traditional cricket before, and India have lost the grand total of 3 test matches in 45 coming into this series. So what would be the point in doing it differently? Well, they've lost the series, but as Harmy said, they were in all of the games. Ironically, the game that they weren't really in is the one they won after coming back from 190 runs down. So, has this approach worked for them? It's not worked in terms of results. Has it worked in terms of cricket?
I think with the personnel that they've had, you're missing a lot of players. Listen, some experience as well. And I agree with Harmy, everything he said. You know, I think he can be very proud of the way that his team have backed his thoughts and what he's wanted from this series. They've tried extremely hard. Young lads who've not played a lot of cricket, you're asking them to go out there and win you a game in the fourth innings. They've tried. They're going to bowl bad balls. You're playing against very good players who are accomplished and used to playing in those conditions. And with the positivity that Ben Stokes exudes towards his team, I think it's helped them massively. I can think under different captains, this series would have been 5-0 and gone a different way, and teams would have folded and, we're not very good and not getting, heads would have gone down. Not under Ben. He's not allowing that. So every game has had something on it. It's been very close. You can go on the what ifs, and if, you know, batted slightly better, if a couple of your senior batters got a few more runs to give the bowlers a little bit more chance, if we spent a bit more time at the crease, they're what ifs, but they can be very proud of what they've done so far. They had a sniff today, hasn't quite worked out. You know, Gill and Jarrell, for me, is going to be a phenomenal player. I just love the way he goes about it, and Harmy makes a great point. He's got to be very close to getting man of the match. That 90, and especially batting with the lower order on day 2, has maybe changed the game. Instead of England being 3 figures in front, it went down to, what was it, 40-odd? 46. That's a game changer, isn't it? Because I was saying, if England get 200, and on this wicket, which is shown, it weren't impossible to bat. Yes, there was some demons in it and cracks and keeping low and spinning, but they were happening slow. It wasn't like they were spitting at you. I mean, how many wickets have we seen where it's actually spitted and jumped up, and it wasn't the case? So, you know, we misread the wicket. I mean, you know, day 1 before lunch and Ben Stokes got that one, we're thinking day 2, game's done. Well, how wrong were we? And a lot of batters got in, they spent a lot of time and hit a lot of balls, and, you know, that's what can happen. Sometimes you get these demons in your head, and how many times do we say that cricket is played in the head? If you have a positive mindset and you go out there and just play the situation, which India did, and that's why they've ended up on top. But England could be very proud of what they did. Just miss opportunities, I think, in a few with, as I said, top order. You know, your number 3 getting a pair, that doesn't help. Johnny Bairst hasn't really got the weight of runs that you would expect of someone of that calibre to get. It could have been different.
Well, sorry, I'll just jump in. The one thing, what will happen here is people will say Bazball doesn't work in India. That's what people will say. Bazball doesn't work in India. And I'll say nonsense. Because England were in a position in all them test matches because of the mentality and the outlook that they had. You know, you can see it from a results point of view, like you say. Yeah, if you want to just throw a result at us, 3-1. You know, Bazball hasn't worked in India because it's 3-1. But I'm sorry, England would have been in a hell of a worse position if they'd gone down the sort of before this regime come in, playing with this team. You know, with inexperience that they've got in these surroundings on these sort of wickets. For me, Bazball has worked here, and it's given them the best chance to be in the contest. I think if they'd gone back to before McCullum and Stokes, and that mentality team comes out here, then I don't think England get anywhere near. I really don't think England can get anywhere near. So yes, people will criticise me for saying that. You know, you're sticking up for Ben and Brendan, and I'm sticking up for this team in such a way that I think this mentality has given them the best chance to win. It's made mistakes, but it's going to make mistakes. And for me, I would rather a team go and play the way they've gone and played and lose that way, trying to be, you know, the best versions of themselves and giving themselves the best chance to win playing this mentality than playing the other way, because I think they would have been 4-0 down if they had played the other way. So that for me is, yes, there are going to be a lot of headlines, Bazball doesn't work. Nonsense. It does work. Unfortunately, it does make mistakes. And in this situation against this side in India, you've got Jadeja and Ashwin. You know, when they needed it on a turning pitch, they came out and they got England to bat 20 overs for 25 runs. You know, England tried to be proactive. Didn't work. That was the mistakes that they made, and that's unfortunately what's going to come. You can't have everything. You can't have everything going your way all the time. The people that say Bazball won't work or Bazball doesn't work or criticise this team play the perfect game in the perfect mind, who have either not played the game or have been out of the game for so long that they don't understand the way the modern cricket works. I was guilty before the series started, really guilty, and I hold my hands up and say I was really guilty of that before the series started. Apologise to a few important people because of that. But for anybody that comes out and says that this method doesn't work in India, I tell you what, they want to give their head a shake.
The other thing is, we're also being incredibly disrespectful for India, because this series now means they've won they're undefeated in 17 series in a row. Yes, no Virat Kohli. Yes, no KL Rahul. You kind of think, well, it opens up an opportunity. We use the phrase a couple of times, never have a better chance. But they've still got a production line of players. We've seen Jurel come into this side. We've seen Jaiswal emerge as one of the brightest talents that we've seen in God knows how long. So we can say, oh, well, it doesn't work. But you're not comparing like with like. You've got to appreciate, you're playing India in India. Yeah. So we've got to be honest about the whole thing, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%, Macca. And again, Harmy makes a great point. For these individuals and for the modern player, the way that Ben plays works for them. And it was great to see them go out there. There was times when Rohit Sharma was scratching his head. He didn't know where to turn with the way that, Duckett and Crawley were coming at them. He's like, well, I don't normally see this. We don't see this in India. And I said, if a couple of the senior players, obviously Joe Root came good in this game, but if he got firing, all of a sudden, it's problems. And it is with the way they play. And I love the positivity that Ben has in the field. I would have loved to have played underneath him. He reminds me very much of Adam Hollioake, who I was blessed to have as captain at Surrey, where the game's always moving along. He doesn't let it drift. He puts fielders in particular positions. He backs his bowlers. I mean, gone are the days where, I'd go for 8 or 10 off and I might not be seen again for 2 sessions. He said, no, Hartley. In that first game, we can go back. That first game, he said, no, I believe in you. You're my bowler. Keep bowling. Keep bowling. That would have done that young man the world of good. They would have been captains. Nope, off, not seeing him again, and he's trying to get overs off sort of non-bowlers or whatever, but he backed him and it helped him getting into this game. And as you said, for a young player who's not bowled a lot of red ball in red ball cricket, would have done him world of good. Bashir, an emergence. It was just a gut feel from the selectors and Ben Stokes. The height, knowing that the wickets he'd have played on from his experience in the IPL. Yep, I think I need a bowler who's tall, an off-spinner, and they went for him. That's going to do them the world of good. So I think, people are always, and you're always going to get the old players. And I think I said last Test match when people were coming out with nonsense when Joe played that reverse sweep off Jasprit Bumrah. I said, I think some of the ex-pros need to be quiet. The game has changed. It's moved on. It's exciting. Young people are enthralled by watching it, listening to it. That's gone. That old generation of cricket is gone. This is new age. Yes, it hasn't worked. And we got to remember, as you rightly said, India don't lose in India. It was always going to be difficult. Harmy said at the beginning, 5-0, when we heard about preparation and all these type of things. And he's, and that's what I love about Harmy. As a grown-up, you sort of think, I got it wrong. I'll hold my hands up. Some people don't. Harmy did. And you accept that. And, we move on. I mean, 3-1. You go into that last game, you give it a good go. 3-2 coming back from India with this young team, with the inexperience of spinners that you have. Listen, they move on.
Just to finish up on that, they had you said rightly so, they had players missing. And people might just think it's a flipping comment because you've got Jack Leach missing. It's one of the only ones missing for England. Jack Leach is your main spin bowler in India. It's like having Jimmy Anderson missing not Jimmy Anderson, that's a poor example, but you're having a type of English seaman missing for an English summer, in a wet English summer. So these two other bowlers have stood up, Hartley and Bashir, off the back of losing Jack Leach. Jack Leach is out there as your forefront spin bowler, and he makes a difference. He would have made a difference in this series. So little things didn't go, and mistakes come, and you live and die by the decisions that you make. But I'd sooner, I could go to bed easily at night if I was Ben Stokes, going with this group the way they've gone, than trying to come out here and go and, no disrespect to Chris Silverwood, but go and try and say, right, we'll play the long game, try and bat for as much as we can, as long as we can, and get the biggest score we can in the first innings. I think that was 1 from 17, and that's nothing against Joe or Chris Silverwood's team. This mentality is the right way going forward. yeah, it'll win. For me, it'll win more games than it'll lose.
So India have won 39 of the last 50 Test matches played in India, 78% record. That is a heck of an effort. And they've now won 10 of the last 12 played against England in India. So there you go, that kind of backs up what we were saying. Right, let's hear from one of the men involved. Shubman Gill has been speaking with the host TV broadcasters.
Shubman, congratulations, very well played. Yeah, I mean, quite a bit of nervousness out there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We were put under pressure by them. But I think we got a good start as well by our openers. And then obviously on a wicket like this, when you lose a couple of wickets, obviously there is some pressure. But I think the way Jurel came in, we had a good partnership in the end.
119 deliveries without a boundary. How difficult was that mentally, and how strong, and how did you kind of control your instincts?
Yeah, I think this would probably go down as my only inning where I didn't hit a boundary, like a 4 after scoring a 50. But you have to see the situation, and you have to play the situation sometimes. And I think the way their bowlers were bowling, they were bowling really good lines, and they had also been protecting their boundaries pretty well. So it was important for us to just keep taking the game and not let the bowlers bowl too many maidens, because then on a wicket like this, you are waiting for a magical ball to happen to you. So that was the plan, keep taking the singles, and as soon as they give us anything loose, trying to pounce on that.
Shubman, Sunil here, very well played.
Thank you, sir.
I think you shepherded the team. But when Dhruv Jurel came in for the hat-trick ball, did you exchange any words before he took the first ball?
Yeah, I just told him, you batted beautifully in the first innings. Just have the same mindset. And to the off spinners, we had this plan. We're going to look to play them. We're going to look to step down to them and play them, because then the LBW is out of the game. And I think the way he came down and rotated the strike was beautiful.
Was that your thought process as well, playing Bashir, because you played him differently in the second innings?
Yeah, in the first innings as well, the ball was not turning much, so I didn't step out much. And the ball which I got out in the first innings, it hit the crack and it spun sharply. And in the second inning, I just thought I would take LBW out of the game by just stepping out. And then it's one of those things which I have actually practiced a lot, step out and play for the singles or defend. Because generally when you're stepping out, you're always looking for the big shot. But I think if you can step out and you have this game where you can step out and defend or look for the single, I think it really helps on wickets like these.
It's a very new look Indian batting lineup. You yourself are very, very young, not just age, but also your experience. What does it mean to that young batting unit, that dressing room, and you yourself?
It means the world to us, we coming here, having to play this series with not much batting experience in the batting lineup, and having lost KL after the first test match. Obviously there were some nerves going into the test matches, but I think the way Rohit Bhai backed all of us, and the way Rohit Bhai gave us the confidence to just go out there and play and express yourself. We have played quite a bit of first class cricket, just think this is no different.
Shubman Gill speaking with Sanjay Manjrekar and Sunil Gavaskar after the match. Spoke pretty well and admitted that, yeah, look, we're a young side, but Rohit gave them a lot of confidence. I'm still not entirely convinced as Rohit in his tactical captaincy, but actually in terms of what Ben Stokes is doing for England and giving them confidence, it sounds like Rohit is doing a similar kind of thing with the England squad.
Well, I think he inspires them. He inspires them because of who he is, what he's done in the game, and this fantastic player. Technically, he's very, very good. I still can't believe his numbers and the amount of cricket he's played, because I don't think he's played a great deal of cricket for the age he's at. But he does inspire them. Captaincy to one side. But looking at Shubman Gill, a lot was talked about Shubman Gill coming into this series. Does he bat at number 3? Do they bring Cheteshwar Pujara back? Do they go down a different route, because Ayer's been pushed to one side, Ishan Kishan's been pushed to one side because he's refusal to play first class cricket. Shubman Gill averaging under 30 going into this series he was somebody not only under pressure, but probably in the last chance saloon of, is he a test cricketer or is he just a short format cricketer? And I tell you what, it's only 52, but this could be a career defining innings for him, because not only is it 52, done it the hard way, he's done it in a winning position. So the understanding, and this is what I keep saying, Tudes, when we talk about young fast bowlers, when they talk about their experience, and one of my big bugbears is them not bowling enough. But it's define the moment when you can win a game for your team. Get a fiver to win the game for your team. You look at relatively young cricketers. Have they got 100 and getting 100 over the line, winning for the game for their team? Well, Shubman Gill's only got 50, but he's learned how to manage a situation to get India from a winning position to the winning position, and that there, a 50 not out, getting themselves a test match win and a series win, that will be like 150. That's like a 200 first innings run scoring, because of the way he's done it, the manner he's done it, no boundaries, 142 balls. You watch Shubman Gill's average now go from 30 to 40 very, very quickly.
Yeah, and you look at it, he got 38 in the first innings as there were 300 all out. And Dhruv Jurel, 90 in the first innings that we've already touched on, Tudes. But then 39 not out in the second innings. Again, you're talking about coming in and making a moment and doing something that says to the management, can't leave me out.
Yeah,
he's done that as well.
Yeah, sorry, 100% Macca. He just comes and exudes timing, class, poise at the crease, doesn't look phased at all. You think of the pressure situation in both innings that he had to come in and deal with it. He was phenomenal. Does it in a class way, as most Indian batters do, and he creates a headache now, a good headache for the selectors, and that's what you want. You want when people come in, they don't know whether they have to perform. It's not like, oh yeah, you're going to get 4 or 5 games. You have to perform, because if you don't, there's someone waiting to come back, and you're talking about world-class players that are coming back from injury. So when you get your opportunity, and I always say this, when you get your chance, be ready. Have you done your skills? As Harmy says, have you bowled enough balls? Have you hit enough times? Have you scored under pressure situations? It's all right going out there and getting runs when it's flat and it's bowling through a pipe and it's not doing anything. You can just stand and, step and fetch, as we call it. But is it under when the ball's turning, it's seaming, a bowler's in a spell, can you see him off and then you pick off the other bowlers? It's those situations for me, and that's why I don't throw the world-class or class player around a lot. But when I do see it, I will call it. And with Jaiswal at the top of the innings, he's going to be an absolute world beater in all formats of the game. And this Jurel, I tell you, if there's any problems with, say, Kohli, KRL through injury and stuff, they've got a lad here who's going to be absolutely class.
Indian TV aren't exactly the great rushers of the world. They've finally got the presentation ceremony underway, and we can join Sanjay Manjrekar, who is speaking with the England captain Ben Stokes.
Ben, that applause is for you. Honestly, because very rarely you've seen a foreign team come and play in these conditions and get under the skin of India. You've done that a couple of times, if not more. So well done on that to begin with. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think it was a great test match. If you look at the scoreboard, India win by 5 wickets. I don't think it really gives enough credit to sort of the game as a whole. The amount of ebbs and flows, every single day that happened. And I've got to give so much credit to our spinners, Tom Hartley, Shoaib Bashir, to come out and put in that performance throughout the whole test match, but in particular today. Being exposed in situations like that at such a early start of their career, incredible. I couldn't be more proud of those two in particular, but obviously very proud of the team throughout this whole week and what they've thrown at India.
You knew when you came here that you didn't have an experienced spin bowling attack. So I guess somewhere as captain you conditioned yourself to be patient and be positive, because I saw many occasions loose ball or 6 being hit, but you're always trying to egg them on.
Yeah, look, that's the way I am as a person. That's the way I am as a captain. It's allowing these young guys to come into a sort of pretty intimidating situation at Test cricket against India, who are an incredibly hard team to come out here and play against, and just allowing them the freedom to run up and treat every ball as an occasion, rather than thinking about something that's already happened and can't be changed. And I think so far this series, not only has it brought out a lot of talent, not only for us but also for India. Test cricket, I'm a massive cricket fan. I love Test cricket, and I think on both sides we've seen some young, inexperienced players come out, and I think the future looks great for Test cricket.
Well, the experience, interestingly, India was the other way around. Then they had inexperience in their batting, but you had experience in your batting. So somewhere, would it be fair to say that you would have expected more from your batters coming the 4th Test match, carried their form a little more, Ben?
No, I think we've been good in periods. I think if we look at yesterday, obviously when we had our turn with the bat, I think
I don't want to say impossible because I don't think anything's impossible, but that was incredibly hard yesterday. When you get conditions against Ashwin, Jadeja and Kuldeep like that, scoring becomes very, very hard, especially when you want to eke the game out as long as we wanted to do. We didn't think the pitch was going to get any better, and I think we've seen that today. So, look, I think the way in which the Indian spinners operated yesterday made it incredibly hard for us to score, but also to rotate the strike. So, that little period there was very, very tough for us.
Joe Root and Shoaib Bashir, the two heroes from this game. So, a word on those two?
Yeah, Joe Root, incredible knock. I know he's took a fair bit of criticism, which I don't think is very fair. Someone's played 100 and God knows how many games, scored 12,000 runs. This is his 31st Test match 100. Classes permanent, forms temporary, all that kind of stuff. And Shoaib Bashir, I mean, wow, like what a story, what a journey. Coming in here, taking 8 wickets in the game, getting his first, 5-wicket holders professional in the Test match against India. I mean, wow, the sky's the limit for that guy. So very, very proud of him.
Just watching you captain, because as a commentator as well, you're going to take your eyes off the match because there's something happening all the time with field placement, which added to the pressure that was created by the bowlers and, of course, by your tactics. But in the end, 3-1, you must feel hurt that, after all this coming so close, the scoreline still reached 3-1.
Yeah, I think, you come into series and you obviously want to win. You want to win games of cricket. But, I've been here for 2 years and my message is constantly consistent. It's about the input that everyone gives to the team. If we worry too much about the output, I think we're not sort of committing as much as we can do as individuals and as a team. And, everyone, every Test match here has thrown absolutely everything they can out on the field. Nothing has ever been left out on that field, and that's all I ask my players.
Well, all the best for Dharamshala. Well played until now.
Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers.
Ben Stokes in conversation with Sanjay Mandraker. So the England captain more than happy with what's been produced over the 4 days. Alex Tudor's still alongside me on that, and it's really interesting. He's talking with Sanjay Mandraker there, saying, "Look, my message is consistent in the fact that we just want to be consistent in the messaging. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low." And he knew that Joe Root's a class player, and he knew that 100 was around the corner. And at the same time, he took a punt on Shoaib Bashir, and it worked out. Yeah,
of course. I mean, the noise that was coming out that last Test match on that one shot that Joe Root played, and everyone just, I don't know why. He's the best player of our generation that England ever had, and people are kicking up a fuss. Utter nonsense. I mean, I don't take to social media too often to have a go, but I was like, listen, I think it's time people start to stop the noise. It was far too much noise going on. He's a world-class player. He's in that bracket of 5 if you think of Kohli and Kane Williamson and Steve Smith. He's in there. He's definitely in there, belongs in there. It was only a matter of time before Joe Root goes out there and scores 100. It wasn't like he was looking horrible at the crease, because he doesn't. He's a very elegant player, and it was... he was getting out, and that can happen. But he was always going to come good, and he did. And he scored it in a way where I suppose everyone was happy, because he didn't play any reverse sweeps, only one against a spinner quite late on. But he batted quite beautifully and gave England a chance, to be fair. Gave England a chance, batted beautifully with Ben Stokes first, and then with Ollie Robinson to get England to a good total. But it just wasn't enough. Bashir, outstanding. I mean, to have a gut feeling to pull a young lad out who you saw on YouTube, you saw the height, you think, you've got experience of India because he's played in the IPL, Ben, and he knows. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this lad. Has a little word with Rob Key. Yep, let's just get this guy. And I just love the way that they back him, the way that he goes out there, the enthusiasm, the positivity. No, I'm not doing draws. We win or lose, but we're going to play in this way. A little bit like a Premier League manager, say Pep Guardiola or Klopp. We're playing this way. We're still going to pass it from the back, and we're going to be flamboyant. We'll go out there, entertain. That's what we're here to do, to entertain. And on the back of that, I've got young kids at school always asking questions. They're watching Test cricket, not just the white ball. They're talking about Test cricket, and that is purely because of the way that Ben and under Ben Brendan McCullum, they've come with this positivity. It's exciting. They want to watch it. When England are batting, you want to be watching it or listening to it live on talkSPORT too, because something is going to happen.
Well, we've heard from one captain. Shall we complete the set? Rohit Sharma is now speaking with Sanjay Mandraker.
Won't ask you anything. Just react after the result of this match. Series win.
No, see, it's been a very hard-fought series, without a doubt. And to come on the right side of it at the end of 4 Test matches feels really, really good. Really proud of everyone in the dressing room. There were a lot of challenges thrown at us, but I thought we responded pretty well to different challenges in different Test matches. I thought we were quite composed in what we wanted to achieve and what we wanted to do on the field. And very happy.
Rohit, I played in the 80s and 90s when Test was the main format. That is what we played for. But these guys are different. These are young 20-year-olds who play all the other formats. They are good at that as well. But their desire to make a difference in Test cricket. Dhruv Jurel, 3 hours, 40 minutes at the crease.
Yeah.
Kuldeep Yadav as well. I mean, how do you read that?
Clearly tells me that they want to be here. All the hard work that they've done in the past, growing up years, coming through, the whole circuit of playing domestic cricket, playing the local club cricket and performing there, and then coming here. Obviously, it's a big challenge to play Test match cricket. We all know that. But these guys, when I look at them, when I talk to them, the responses that I get from them is quite encouraging. So, my job and Rahul Bhai's job is to make sure that we give them the environment that they want to be in, and they don't feel too much about going out there and getting the job done. They want to get the job done, but it is no point keeping or keep talking to them about it or reminding them about it, because when they come here, they are very clear in what they want to do. Jurel, especially playing his second game, showed solid composure, calmness as well, and got the shots as well. The guys played all round the wicket. The first inning 90 of his was very, very crucial for us to get close to that target, close to that first inning runs that England got. And then obviously again in the second inning showed a lot of maturity, a lot of composure as well, along with Gill.
So when you look at the slip corner now, Rohit, you see all these new boys, and suddenly you're looking at a new Indian team. Now add Virat Kohli and Rishabh Pant to your batting lineup, because people were worried about the kind of batting lineup that you had, inexperienced. Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, part of this batting lineup. Now suddenly you're looking at a very, very solid Test batting lineup, Rohit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always not pleasing when you miss your key players. But again, there's nothing we can do as a group. Those guys are proven players in all sorts of conditions, and to come and fill their shoes, obviously to these guys were not easy. There were pressure from the outside, not inside. But I thought they responded very well to all the situations. Like I said at the start, all the situations that were thrown at them, they responded pretty well. And then obviously when you make a mark like that, you hold yourself in good position. Obviously long career ahead as well. But again, the performances like this obviously will motivate them and make sure that whenever the opportunity comes, these guys are ready for it.
Akashdeep as well had a great Test, so everything's coming together for you. Rohit, so now what is the ambition with this Test batting lineup going to Dharamshala? You want to win that one as well, obviously.
Yeah, without a doubt. We turn up to every Test matches thinking that we want to win, no matter where we stand or what has happened in the past. Obviously this was a great series that we played, the 4 games that we played, still one more to go. But we want to make sure that we turn up well in that game as well and try and put our best foot forward. Obviously, playing a 5 Test match series for some of these guys, they were not used to it. But guys have shown a lot of calmness and a lot of composure around it. So pretty confident that we put up the same kind of show what we did in this last 3 Test matches. Even Hyderabad, I think we played well, fell a little short there, but for us nothing changes. We will still go with that same ambition of making sure that we do all things right and make sure we take it from there.
Rohit Sharma speaking with Sanjay Mandrake. So India have won the Anthony de Mello Trophy, the trophy that India and England play for in these series. They have gone 3-1 up after a 5-wicket victory. Now, of course, it's still one to go in Dharamshala. England's plan and I don't know if, I'm presuming this hasn't changed yet, was to go and have a few days in Goa in between the 4th and the 5th Test match. So it'll be relaxing, and they don't actually have that many bodies left, because the only players who weren't playing in this game were Gus Atkinson and Dan Lawrence. So it's not a case. In previous years, you might have thought, well, actually, it might be wholesale changes, freshen things up. There's not actually that much scope to do a great deal, Alex Tudor.
No, there's not. And as you say, they'll stick to their guns. They will most probably go and have a break. Most probably won't have any cricket boots or anything like that, or any cricket bats, nothing. And they will go and chill. I think young Bashir will enjoy. He's most probably going to get a lot of rub downs, ice baths. Hartley the same. Joe, they're not getting any younger, so he'll need that also. And then they go again, and they'll try and win the last game 3-2. Do India bring back Bumrah even though they've won the series, or do they say no, you take more time out? They've won the series. Do they need to bring him back? I mean, it'd be great for the crowds and for the listeners to have someone of that class, world-class performer, back. Do England make any changes? I mean, there's not many. As you say, Dan Lawrence possibly could come in. It'd be good maybe to see Gus Atkinson, as you said, a little bit of extra pace, and see what he can do. We have to see what the wicket does in that next Test match.
Mark Wood, of course, as well.
Obviously, Mark Wood, yeah, of course. So, yeah, there might be a couple of changes. If obviously, at the moment, James Anderson's leg's feeling a little bit heavy, but he's got 10 days into the next Test. He'll be fine. And then they go again, and they'll entertain the crowd. They'll play with that positivity. I think the only thing, as we say, is, with that positivity, just sometimes the situation of the match. That's all. We're all for the positivity, but there's sometimes in the gameplay and the wicket and what people were talking about with Joe Root, that, he didn't do this, didn't do that. No, the wicket in the first innings made him play that way. He did not need to play all the audacious shots, because with it going up and down and with the cracks, you just got to play the ball, and that's what he did, and he did that beautifully. And I think reading the situation was the right thing to do, and that's sometimes the only thing I would ask about under this regime, is just read the situation. You can't always go hammers and tongs at everything. Just read the situation. If a bowler's in a good spell, or if the situation is that someone's maybe off the field, make the bowlers bowl another spell, get them tired, and then punish them. But they'll keep going, they'll keep entertaining, they'll keep us watching and listening, and as you say, putting bums on seats, and that's what they're going to do. So fair enough.
Cheers, thank you very much for being part of the commentary team this Test match. Thank you very much to all of the crew who have been on duty for this one. As I say, about 10 days or so break now till we get back going again in Dharamshala. The 7th of March is the date you need to have in your diary, and we're going to be back with you on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and on talkSPORT 2 to bring you exclusive coverage of that one. We'll be back with you on the morning of the 7th of March, just before 3:30 a.m. Don't miss it, because if it's anything like this one, it's going to be another belter.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.